With house prices skyrocketing around the globe, it might seem impossible to save for a deposit for a house. While it is going to be difficult, especially without external help from parents or relatives, it's not impossible. In this video, I'm going to discuss some practical ways to save a home deposit. Make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to describe some key mindsets that you'll need to make this goal of a home deposit a reality. So buckle up because that's what we're going to talk about today. My name's Biko Konstantinos and my mission is to support your financial goals through quality analysis and education. I'd really love it if you could give this video a like, and if you enjoy my content in any way, please consider subscribing to my channel. Now let's get into it. Now the key to get that home deposit is going to be saving more than you earn. Now whether you're younger or older, it's sometimes easier said than done. So today I want to discuss some ways that might help accelerate that ability to save that deposit. The first thing you'll need to know is how much deposit you'll need. That's going to depend on what type of property you're looking at buying. If it's a unit or a duplex, you'll need less. And if it's an actual freestanding home, you'll definitely require more deposit. So do your research on the property you're looking for and the area where you're looking to buy into, and then you'll be able to work out how much deposit you'll require. Banks normally require 10 to 20% of the actual price of the property you're buying. So if you're buying a $500,000 property, you'll require $50,000 or $100,000. My recommendation is that you save more than 20% of the property that you're purchasing. This is a much safer option as you'll start off with more equity in the property. If you go with the absolute minimum that banks will allow, you might not have enough buffer if there was some sort of crisis in your life, for example, losing a job or something like that. If this happened, you could be forced to sell the property and actually lose money, which we definitely do not want. Now, taking our example of a $500,000 property, we know that we need to save over $100,000, and now we've got something to aim for. First key is to automatically save a certain amount from your primary income source. If you don't have a primary income source like a job, you'll need to get one. And as soon as you receive your income, move a portion of that immediately to somewhere it can't be touched. There's a number of options where that money can go, but at this stage we'll just assume into the bank. Once that money's gone, we don't even consider using it because it's there working to build a deposit. It's not there for our normal day-to-day expenses. To really speed up your saving from your primary income source, see if there's a way that you can earn additional income. Ways you could do this include applying for higher roles in your organization, asking for a pay rise, excelling at your job to improve opportunities for promotion, and working additional hours such as overtime. Now, whenever you are able to increase your primary income, don't fall into the trap of increasing your spending. The additional income should immediately be saved because it can really speed up the time it takes to save that deposit. After we've done everything we can with our primary income source, we want to consider additional sources of income. This can really boost your chances of saving for that property deposit. There are many ways to make additional income and there's no way that I can go through them all. The main thing is considering what can you do. Consider what you enjoy, consider what you're good at, and also consider your weekly schedule in trying to think of the things you can do as a side hustle or a way to make extra income. I'm just going to go through a few examples in this video, but the important thing is be creative. Have a look, do some research because there is a lot of ways that you can actually make some extra money. One thing that almost anyone can do is sell things that they no longer need or use. If you have a look around where you live, I'm sure you'll be able to find some things that you'll be able to sell to someone else who wants it. There's multiple sites that this can be done on. For example, Craigslist, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and you'll be surprised how many used items people are willing to buy. Things like old jewelry, footwear, clothing, electronics, memorabilia. All it takes is a bit of time and effort to list an ad for the item you want to sell, and you can always reduce the price, and if you get something for it, it's better than it just sitting in a cupboard collecting dust. Bruce is getting impatient because he wants me to take him for his afternoon walk. Say hello, Bruce. Now, taking the selling idea further, you could look at purchasing items and on-selling them for a higher price. That will take some effort because you'll need to make sure that you can buy items cheaply, knowing that you'll be able to sell them for a higher price. Many people are able to do this, but it will take a bit of time and a bit of research before you really start knowing what to look for. Another way you can make money from selling is to buy something, restore it, and then sell it for a higher price. For example, you might be able to buy some old furniture, you might be able to redo it up, sand it, varnish it, paint it, all those sorts of things, and then sell it for a great profit because you've made that item a lot more valuable. This will take some time and effort, but it can definitely be worth it. And if you don't know how to do something, for example, restoring something, there are so many tutorial videos on YouTube, you'll be able to work through it if you really want to. Getting a second job can be a good strategy for a period of time. You might have a day-to-day job that goes from 9 to 5 or something like that, so you might be able to consider taking on an additional job in the evenings. There's plenty of jobs out there, so if you really wanted to, you could find yourself a way to make additional income through employment. There's lots of delivery driving jobs, Uber, supermarket job, restaurants. Many people work more than one job, so you could always consider this as an option. With the massive global reach of social media, there are ways you can make money off social media. For example, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. They're all very, very popular, and if you can get enough attention, enough followers, enough subscribers, you'll be able to make some money on the side that way. It would definitely take some effort, but just say you already have a lot of connections on social media, then you've already got a bit of a head start, and you might be able to start posting about something, and you may get some great traction that way. It's definitely worth a go. There are countless ways to make additional money. It may not be easy, but it's worth the effort. And you might find something that works for you. That's the goal here. I recommend doing some research, going onto YouTube, etc., and search for some ways to make additional money doing a side hustle or something like that. Then do some research and just give something a go. I recommend doing something that does appeal to you, however. You don't want to do something just because someone else has made money from it if it's not the sort of thing that you enjoy doing, because you'll probably burn out and you'll probably give it up. If anyone has any stories of successful side hustles that they've been able to do, please share in the comments below. I would love to hear them. Another extremely important factor in reaching your property deposit goal is cutting costs or reducing expenses. This is often overlooked, but it can be one of the easiest things to do if you're willing to pay the price. The first thing I would recommend is to consider reducing your luxury type spending. By this, I mean to stop spending money on those things that you could easily do without. For example, do you need to buy $3-4 coffees per day? Or could you just do with one coffee or even make your own at work? Do you need to have subscriptions to Netflix, Stan, and Binge all at the same time? Can you reduce that to maybe one, or even get rid of them altogether and just watch free TV? Same thing goes with Spotify and other subscriptions you might have. Do you go out on weekends and spend hundreds of dollars getting into clubs and buying drinks and that sort of thing? I acknowledge you need to have fun, but if you're serious about saving a deposit, you're gonna probably have to make some sacrifices. And why spend $10 on a drink when you could probably make it yourself for $2? If you're renting, consider sharing to reduce the amount of rent you have to pay. Yes, you'll have less privacy, but you'll save a heap of money by doing this. Otherwise, you could consider reducing the rent you pay by maybe renting out a room from a family or other options like that. You need to kill bad debt. If you have any personal loans or credit card debt, You need to get rid of these as soon as possible. Paying interest on this sort of debt is going to seriously impede your ability to save that deposit. So I recommend eliminating this debt as soon as possible by any means you can. Make it your mission to save as much money as you can from as many places as you can, and you won't regret it. Okay, so far we've talked about saving money from our primary income source, adding an additional income source, and reducing our expenses. Now, if you've been living a certain way for a period of time, just say you've been spending a certain way, it's not always going to be easy to make drastic changes. That's why it's going to be critical to develop certain mindsets that will enable you to do this consistently until you save that deposit and get that property. Here are some of those mindsets or attitudes that you'll need to develop. Delayed gratification. You can't expect to save a property deposit overnight. It'll take consistency, effort, and also sacrifice. Are you willing to do that for 1, 2, 3, or more years to get to your goal of saving that deposit? Are you able to have patience when you're going through those tough times, when you're trying to live off the minimum income so you can save as much as possible? Making some sacrifices now for a better future can be so rewarding. Creativity. It's vital to be creative, to think about all the different ways that you can save a property deposit quicker. This can range from ways to save money, ways to reduce expenses, ways to make additional income. It doesn't end. The more you think about these things, the more you write down your goals and aim towards your goals, your subconscious and your mind will help you out by giving you ideas that you can then research and act upon. So get creative, focus on your goals, and let your subconscious mind come up with great ideas that can really make a difference. Personal drive and commitment. If you're going to achieve this goal, you need to be committed and you need to have that personal drive to make sure it gets done. If it's more of a wish and not an actual commitment, when things get tough, you most likely give it up and go back to your previous ways of living, and that won't result in getting that deposit. You need to do this for yourself. There'll be times when you might see other people going out, having fun, going on holidays, and you might not be able to do those things because you've committed to reducing your expenses to get that deposit. Well, that's what happens. You're living your own life, you've got your own goals, and it doesn't matter what anyone else does or even what they think. Set the goal, make the plan, and then just stick to it. If you have a bad week or a bad month and your expenses blow out, or you've used up some of your savings, don't sweat it. Just get back on track the following month or whenever it is and keep going. This is a marathon and not a sprint. You're gonna get there by making those small and consistent actions. But to be able to make those actions, you're gonna have to commit. Finally, you're going to need self-belief. If your goal is to save a deposit to buy a property, you need to believe that you can actually do it. Because if you don't, your mind's gonna actually sabotage your progress. Also, if you don't really believe that you can do it, you won't take the necessary actions that you'll need to take to be able to get that deposit. Self-belief will keep you going when you have difficult times and you have obstacles that you'll need to overcome. So just say your personality leans towards the negative, you'll need to actually spend some time in self-development to try and change that to positive. Sometimes negative mindsets might have been built up in your life and they might have actually been reinforced by certain things that have happened to you. For example, you might have tried some new things and they didn't work out, and that might reinforce the message that maybe it's not worth trying or maybe you can't do things, and you might tell yourself these beliefs. Now, we don't want any negative beliefs to become your reality. So I strongly encourage you, take some time to do some self-development, to work on improving your self-belief and your mindset in general. There's heaps of material online that can really help in this area. You want to change your mindset from a limiting mindset to an actual growth mindset. And you really want to grow in all areas of your life. So by improving your self-belief and your growth mindset, it will not only help you to save that property deposit quicker, it will also help you improve in all areas of your life. And who doesn't want that? So those are just some keys from my experience that can help you achieve that goal of saving a deposit to buy a property. I'd love to hear in the comments any other ideas that anyone has, and I'd also love to hear your experiences, whether you're currently trying to save for a deposit or you've previously gone through the process. How did you go? What did you do? What did you learn? All those sorts of things. I'm Biko Konstantinos. I truly appreciate your time in watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, as I'd love to have you on board. If you are saving for a deposit, I wish you all the very best and look forward to hearing your success stories. You can do it. I know you can. Catch you next time.